Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your March 2018 general readings. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to all the newcomers. As always, a few thank yous to those of you who continue to like, share, subscribe, and take the time to send in your support, feedback, and comments. And a big thank you to all of my clients as well, both my regular and new clients, for continuing to keep me so busy with personal readings. If any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me and you haven't read with me before, you've forgotten the information, you can go to my YouTube channel's homepage and click on the About button for more information and my contact details. You can also find those contact details and a little bit of info attached to the description of every video that I post as well. You can email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. Turnaround time for personal readings is pretty fast, as I do readings full-time, 5 to 6 days a week. It is what I do. I do readings in every main areas of life: love and romance, career, work, and finance, spirituality issues, passed on messages, or messages from passed on or deceased loved ones. And I also do specific chartings to take a look at things like love and romance, compatibility, reconciliation, and I also do 6 and 12-month overviews to take a look at what's coming up in your life over a 6 or 12-month period, depending on how far ahead you want to look. So if you're interested in any of those, send me an email and we'll go from there. We can usually schedule a reading for you live or recorded within a 2-week period of time, sometimes a little quicker, but almost always within a 2-week period of time. If you're not looking for the traditional, more intensive, in-depth looks, you just have like a quick question or two, you just want a really short, fast reading, maybe have a decision you need to make really quickly, you can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy, and that link is also with the rest of my contact details. So let's move into this reading. This is for the water sign of Cancer for the month of March 2018. Gosh, it seems like just a week or two ago we were doing January. The time is just passing so quickly. Make sure to, now I sound like my parents when I say that. Make sure to check your rising and your moon sign videos for additional insight and clarification, or you may find that they may resonate a little more predictively for you sometimes. All right, Cancer, let's see what March has in store for you. Our crabs. Okay, Cancer. We begin with the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Cups around the first week or so. Time always being a bit fluid. Some of you it could be a little before or a little later. It's a general reading. There's many of you watching, and even if it resonates in different areas of your life for some of you versus the others, the energy fundamentally remains the same. So around the second week or so, we have the Four of Cups and the Five of Wands. Around the third week or so, we have the Two of Swords and the Nine of Wands, and towards the end of March 2018, we have the Lovers and the Six of Wands. Lovely way to wrap up the month. And from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy and guidance is the Four of Wands. So Cancer, it looks like you may feel a little stuck around the middle of the month or so. Of course, for some of you, this could be a little earlier or a little later, but your overall energy for the month is really quite lovely, and the month ends quite well as well. In fact, I'm going to start with your crowning card, which is from the bottom of the deck, representing overall energy and guidance. We have the Four of Wands, which is a celebratory card, and the Happy Surprise card as well. The Four of Wands can represent an actual celebratory event, like a wedding, an anniversary, an engagement party, a retirement party, something with a specific theme, where it can represent casual get-togethers. There's usually always a strong connection of celebrating or enjoying being with friends and family. Can be family reunions as well. The Four of Wands reminds us fundamentally the simple joys and gratitude that we sometimes lose sight of in the world today, of really appreciating and feeling joy about our friends and families, and really the time we spend with them, kind of reconnecting with that and feeling a renewed sense of gratitude about it, whether that's in a formal party environment or just an informal sharing time together. And it's also called the Happy Surprise card because typically when the Four of Wands comes up, it represents that there over the month of March for you, Cancer, there's going to be an unexpected surprise, an unexpected blessing, but it's something very positive and something that's going to make you very happy. And even though you know it's coming, it's still going to take you off guard. And it's not a card of an indeterminate time either. When the Four of Wands comes up, whatever this happy surprise or unexpected blessing is going to be occurring within a few weeks period of time. And we are looking at the month of March. So, and it could be something that happens or occurs. Random hairs. It could be something that happens or occurs at a party or a get-together of some kind, whether it's formal or casual. So typically when I do personal readings and this card comes up, I always tell my clients, don't turn down any invitations or opportunities to go somewhere, whether it's, an actual party with a purpose or a theme or just a casual get-together like dinner or drinks or coffee or barbecue or something like that, because you never know what may happen. So there is a strong energy of home and family for the month of March. Some of you may be spending more time with friends and family. Some of you may be spending more time communicating with those people, or just kind of maybe replugging in and feeling maybe a sense of joy and gratitude for who you have in your life, maybe that you may have lost sight of too. So that's a general overall advice for the month of March too. We have the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Cups around the end of February, beginning of March. I am recording these in the last few days of February. The Knight of Swords, Knights usually represent offers and opportunities coming in, and they can be sometimes situations that move very fast because speed is usually associated with Knights because they're spontaneous, impulsive, and they move with a fair amount of speed. Swords is air energy. That's the element which governs the soup. So it's internal, psychological, mental, cerebral energy. It's all about words and our ideas and communication and how it affects the way that we communicate, truth, education, learning, illumination, insight. It's all about that energy of what goes on up in our heads and how that affects the way that we communicate with the world and with people in the world. So the Knight of Swords would be bringing news, information, messages. Sometimes the Knight of Swords energy can be a little challenging. It is sometimes referred to as the inconvenient truth card because what it brings is information or news that is the truth, and it is illuminating and clarifying. But it's not, there's not a lot of attention paid to like the emotion of how it's presented. So it can be like the truth that kind of hits you and you're like, whoa, it can be seeing something for the reality of what it is. That may be a little challenging to take. I'm not saying this is going to be the case for all of you Cancers or even some of you Cancers, but it looks like at the end of February, beginning of March, there is some, I feel like you guys are, and it's funny because I got a little bit of this similar message for Leos. I feel like a lot of you are getting in, you're taking in information that's coming to you, maybe through conversation with people, and maybe you're just putting things together in your head. You're learning a lot. There's a lot of information coming in, and your challenge is to kind of stay in tune and in touch and stable with your emotions, because the Knight of Swords is paired with the Queen of Cups, which is your energy, Cancer. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising, female or male, kind of manifesting your own energy. The Queen of Cups, Queens and Kings have matured beyond the Page and Knight energy, so they've reached a point where they're pretty balanced and stable with the character traits that are inherent to their suit. Cups is water energy, so it's emotions, relationships. That's the area that it manifests in the tarot. So the Queen of Cups is she can be one of the mothers of the tarot. She's very loving, nurturing, kind, always knows the right thing to say, great source of emotional support and feedback. She's a very spiritual and intuitive person and energy as well. So when the Queen of Cups comes up, it on a fundamental level represents being in tune and very well connected with your sense of intuition and with your feelings. If there's a situation where you have information or news coming in and you may be tempted to react a certain way, the Queen of Cups always says take a step back and touch base with how you're feeling. Are those feelings reality based or not? Because these can be somewhat opposite energies. We have just thought over here, air energy, thought, and then we have the water, emotional energy energy here. So your challenge, if this is a challenge, is about making sure that whatever news or information that you have coming in this month, particularly around the end of February, beginning of March, that you not be too reactive to it, that you kind of take a look at it, don't overthink it, and don't overfeel it. Kind of maintain that balance in there, regardless of what it is. Because for some of you, overall your energy is quite nice. It just looks like there's a challenge in maybe dealing with some information or news. Maybe trying to sort out what's real and what's realistic or not. We next have the Four of Cups and the Five of Wands. So the Four of Cups is, I sometimes refer to as the boredom or ingratitude card, because it represents a man that has what appears to be very nice things around him. He has these three beautiful goblets next to him, upright and full, that can represent kind of his environment or his life. And there's another one being offered to him out of the sky, almost like a blessing or an opportunity. But he doesn't seem particularly connected either to what he has or what's being offered in front of him, or appreciative of it too. So remember, if this is one of those months where because of any kind of conflict or stuff coming in, you lose sight of, those simple connections and simple gratitudes of, particularly of home and family and friends. Remember this, it's about kind of this is a card that reminds us, just like the Four of Wands, because we have two fours here, the Four of Cups and the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is about being connected and plugged into the simple joys and appreciation of the emotional connections we have with people, friends and family, and the simple celebrations around that. The Four of Cups is kind of the opposite. It's about being disconnected from that and feeling like maybe the shine has worn off something and you're just not kind of plugged into it anymore. Maybe feeling restless, like you want to make a change but not motivated enough to actually do anything, just kind of a blah sort of period. And it's paired with the Five of Wands, which can be a card that represents conflict, although it's not super intense conflict, because you can see that the men in this circle are sparring with each other, but they're sparring only, which can be for the purposes of getting better. They're sparring, their weapons are practice weapons, they're not really out to kill each other. It can represent conflict, internal or external, or a combination of both. It can represent having with one person or a group of people the same argument over and over again. Nobody winning, nobody losing, but no real clear solution, just kind of, like a dog chasing its own tail, the same old conflict. And it can represent petty conflict too. This isn't, again, like out for blood, intensive Tower card energy conflict. It's just petty, can represent petty squabbles. It almost feels like Cancer, maybe around the second week or so, or towards the middle of the month, if not a little sooner. As I always say, time is fluid, and general readings can be tricky that way because there's so many of you watching. But I almost feel a little like it's a little temper tantrumy, or there may have been some news or information that comes in, or you may be trying to process information that's not necessarily negative, but it may be just information and news about something in your life, whether it's in, the partnership area of your life, or friends, or family, or work and career. And you're just trying to sort out how you feel about it. And in that process, there may be kind of like this, you may feel the challenge maybe in the first part of the month for you, Cancer, may be that you feel just kind of irritable, grouchy, like I don't want to, and almost I'm almost getting like just minor temper tantrums, or you just may feel a sense of blah, and you may be wanting to maybe pick fights with people, or it could be because of some kind of conflict or petty squabbles that you're having. It's just giving you this sense of feeling kind of disconnected and not really invested in whatever relationships you may be having these squabbles with, or this conflict with these people. You may just be like, I don't want to deal with this. I'm trying to figure something out. I'm trying to kind of process some information here. Now, I'm just feeling some advice to Cancer that, I mean, the end of the month wraps up beautifully. And again, your overall energy is to try to the best of your ability, when you get tempted to kind of withdraw or get involved or get irritable or grumpy about any petty squabbles, try not to get involved in any of those, particularly if you're trying to work through some stuff in your head or work through information. And remember, this Four of Wands is your overall energy and guidance. It's about, taking a step back out of petty stuff. To remember what's really important, to look around at your life and go, okay, what do I really have to be grateful for? Who do I really have to be grateful for? And kind of reminding yourself of that, because it's going to make any kind of petty squabbles and conflict easier to avoid or not engage in or not begin. Now around the middle of the month or the third week or so, we have the Two of Swords and the Nine of Wands. This is about kind of feeling stuck, this combination of energy, which kind of also echoes the Four of Cups and the Five of Wands, although the Four of Cups and the Five of Wands has a bit more of an active feel because there is some squabbling or conflict. The Two of Swords is about feeling stuck, no movement. It can also be about refusing or having a real reluctance or resistance to look at something, look at the truth or reality of something, see it for what it really is, not what you feel it might be, because emotions and feelings are part of what defines us as human, but we also need to be kind of cautious of them. This can be kind of the keeping your head in the sand sort of card, having something in front of you which needs to be dealt with, needs to be looked at, a decision needs to be made, or a choice needs to be made, a path needs to be chosen, but for some reason there's a reluctance or a resistance to kind of, to act on it or to even look at it, to deal with it, because it kind of feels like, again, something has come in, maybe news, information, something, you're trying to process it, and during that processing you just feel kind of stuck, maybe grumpy, irritable, some conflict going on, not really wanting to deal with it. But it's accompanied by the Nine of Wands, which is a card of pushing through, because you're almost there. You're almost at either an end point or a culmination point, because tens represent the end of cycles and or culmination, goalpost achievement. Nine of Wands, you're close to that. There's this another obstacle, hurdle, last minute delay that you've run into, that this man has run into, this soldier, and he's tired, he wants to be done, he's trying to get through this, and there's just this general sense of whatever it is that you're dealing with in whatever area of your life this is resonating in, Cancer. It's kind of like you don't want to deal with it, you don't want to maybe look at it, or you don't want to accept maybe what has come in, or you're trying to sort it out, and you just kind of get into this a little bit of a bump in the road where you're like, I don't want to. Why is this always happening? Or why is this happening now? And why do I have to deal with this? Why can't this ever be laid to rest? Kind of energy. But the Nine of Wands says, look, it almost is laid to rest. This is the last big piece you have to deal with before you can put something in the past where it belongs, because that's what I'm getting. And for some of you, it may be connected to family somehow. It's kind of what I'm getting. So try not to, the reason we do these readings, forewarned is forearmed. You don't have to wait for this stuff to happen and then accept that you're just going to be feeling this way and going into it. Forewarned is forearmed. That's why we listen to readings, so we can get a bit of a heads up on what's coming, and you can lessen and sometimes even just completely negate this energy. When you start feeling this energy, remember, what are you going to find helpful? Connecting with friends and family, remembering what you're grateful for, remembering the things that you have in your life to be grateful for, and particularly putting that, what's really important in our lives, and putting that in front of any squabbles or conflict, which often makes them recede or seem not as important as we might think they are, when in fact they really aren't. What's it really all about anyway? So at or towards the end of the month, we have a great combination of cards. We have the Lovers and the Six of Wands. So the Lovers is right next to the Two of Swords, which is that card of not making a decision, being stuck, not knowing which way to go, or not really wanting to look at something and deal with it. The Lovers is about needing to make a choice, a decision. It can also be about a very important, significant relationship. Can be a soulmate, love, romance, karmic relationship, or another significant karmic relationship in your life. In the early tarot decks, it was called the choice. So it can often represent needing to make a significant, major choice that's going to significantly affect a primary relationship or really important karmic relationship in your life. But it's clarified, and so that's right next to the Two of Swords. So this sense of being stuck, I don't think lasts very long. You're really being called, at least by the end of March, beginning of April. I'm going backwards in time. It's time to make this decision, whatever this decision or choice is, or whatever you need to move through and past, whatever you need to let go of, it's time to do that. And it looks like you do that, Cancer, and the opportunity to do that and to move through it successfully is there, because the Lovers is accompanied and clarified by the Six of Wands. This is a card of victory and triumph and success after a struggle, after a challenge, after a lot of work, after a lot of struggle. And it's a significant, this isn't small victory like, oh, I tied my shoes and paid the bills today. It's a strong, significant victory and challenge. You have accomplished something, a mission, a quest. You have successfully completed something, regardless of what area of your life this is in. It's also a card of public recognition as well. And having your efforts and your achievements and your successes and your victories be recognized and applauded and touted by other people around you too. So you have you have actually 4 wands, which is fire energy, 2 cups and 2 swords. No pentacles energy, no earth energy. So for a lot of you, perhaps most of you, this probably is not going to resonate in the job, work, career part of your life, although for some of you it may. There's more of a focus on fire energy, which is about what we build and create and manifest in our life, and it's fire, so it's energetic. It's forward moving. Even though it feels like there's all this stuck energy kind of in the middle of the month, I think you're being called upon to kind of move through it and connect back with what is beautiful in your life in a very real and active way. You have a couple of swords, which is air energy, thoughts, and then you have a couple of cups, which is emotions as well. It looks like something comes in at the end of February, beginning of March, Cancer. You may have some difficulty processing or sorting through, and there may be this sense of, maybe I don't want to deal with it. Even if it's not necessarily negative, it may just represent a part of your life or a part of your heart that's just maybe even connected with family somehow, that just may be, you may have to deal with it in little doses, because there's a sense of, I don't know, I don't really want to connect to it, I don't really want to deal with it, but you're being asked, Spirit is advising you to move through it because it's for your own evolution and your well-being. Face it, make your decisions and choices, decide what you're going to do and move forward through that, because that's where you're going to gain this sense of victory and achievement, and I'm getting this sense of being able to lay something to rest once and for all. For some of you, it may have to do with a significant karmic relationship. Could be a relationship with a lover, with a spouse, with a family member, with a parent even. Whatever the relationship is, it feels like it's really emotionally significant for you. And for a couple of you, for a few of you, this may be dealing with something or laying something to rest with someone that's passed on, maybe a parent or something, like laying some history to rest once and for all too. But it looks like generally you end the month quite nicely, even though there may be a bit of a challenge in the middle of the month, because that's just life. There's challenges there somehow. Remember to stay connected. Remember to do your gratitude checks when you're feeling very blah and disconnected, maybe a little grumpy and irritable and not wanting to deal with something. Remind yourself of what you have and who you have in your life, because that's going to be a real blessing to you throughout March 2018, Cancer. And you do have at least one happy, unexpected blessing coming your way in regards, I think, in connection to home, family, and friends as well. So Cancer, that pretty much wraps up your March 2018 general reading. I hope you have enjoyed it, that you found it useful or clarifying somehow. Again, if any of you are interested in a more personal, tailored just for you one-on-one reading, you can go to my YouTube channel's homepage, click on that About button for more information and my contact details, which you will also find attached to the description of every video that I post. Please feel free to contact me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you and set up a reading with you, live or recorded, just as soon as possible. And if you want to connect with me more immediately for those quick questions and answers, you have a decision you need to make, you're just looking for, a quick, short little read, you can connect with me more immediately through the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy. And that link is also with the rest of my contact details. So take care, Cancer. Thank you for watching. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the March 2018 mid-month readings. And until then, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. And I hope to see you back here again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.